Today we are going to understand the center of Agnya. Agnya Chakra, which is placed on the crossing of the optic chiasma. The nerves that supply the eyes go backwards in the opposite direction, and wherever they cross, this subtle center is situated. It has a continuous connection with the other center through the medulla oblongata. This center has got two petals, and this subtle center on one side acts through the eyes, and at the back of the head where you have some protrusion. This is the physical side of the center is. Now the people who talk of the third eye, this is the third eye. So that we have two eyes with which we see, and there's a third eye which is a subtler eye through which we can see. If you see this eye, that means you are away from it. For example, if you can see your eyes, that means you are seeing your reflection, not the reality. If you see anything, that means you are looking at it. So those people who say they see an eye, for example, people who take LSD and all of such things, they start seeing another eye. They just see this eye and they think their third eye has opened. Actually, you are very much away from the eye. That's why you can see it. You go to a supraconscious level on the right side, and on the left side to the subconscious level, you can see the eye. But in Sahaja Yoga, you have to see through that eye. Like a window, you can look at the window, but if you see through the window, you can't look at the window. So this illusion that people have that we can see third eye, and that's why our Kundalini is awakened, they are sadly mistaken. This is a very narrow passage through which attention cannot pass normally. It's an impossible thing. It's a very narrow passage where the ego and superego fit onto each other and cross each other just like this. And there is no gap in between for the Kundalini to pass through. This superego and ego go downward and come to the Vishuddhi Chakra and circle round it and go in the same direction. So you find that they come up to this place, they start from this place, go up to the Agnya Chakra, and then they cross over. But here they are in the same direction as they were. Here they cross over. So when you have a problem on the left hand side, you get the effects of that on the right hand side. But the right hand starts from here up to this side, and the left hand starts, say, from here to here. But the left hand actually acts on the right hand side. So if you have any problem on the left hand side, have you got anything to give me? No, I think they must be having, somebody might be having something, talking too much. No, he has got it something here. I've been talking. क्या है? स्टेप्सिल में नहीं लेती? स्टेप्सिल है?
ये वो ये मतलब
विक्स हाँ विक्स
का
विक्स और that's it. One will do. That's all. What is it? Huh? हाँ that's all. अरे one will do. आप सब ही देंगे.
आयुर्वेदिक
ये क्या है? एक छोटा सा दीजिएगा बस चाहिए बस. Thank you. That's all. That's more than because I have been using my throat bit too much and today it was rather cold there, very cold. So this third eye is to be penetrated through, or we have to enter into the third eye through Kundalini awakening. But it is such a closed passage, it is the door to the limbic area, which is the kingdom of God. That anybody who tries to push their attention through this closed door either goes to the left or to the right. And this is the beginning of the trouble of the people when they don't understand that whatever is unknown is not God, is not divine. So, when they move on the right side, they go to the supraconscious area. And they start seeing hallucinations. Actually, these are not hallucinations, but actual things, because they exist on the right-hand side. So they start seeing things of the right-hand side. They may see colors and the formation of colors. And they may see also people who are dead, who have been very egoistical. They can see Gandharvas and Kinnaras because they go to the Gandharva lok, to the right side, and start seeing those things in the unknown awareness of supraconsciousness. But that movement is very dangerous. Because if anybody catches you there, then you get an added personality sitting on your head. And you get possessed by ego. And you become on your own and you actually become malignant. Hitler is one of the examples of that. He learned this from the Tibetan lamas, how to go to the supraconscious. And when he learnt it from them, he used it and made many people supraconscious, ego-oriented. You must have heard about the lama system, which was another big problem, was to they knew who is going, the future part, who is going to be the next lama, where you will find him, where you will get him. All the future things they knew, and people thought this was divine. To know future is not divine. It's an area which we should never go to because it's an imbalance. We are human beings and we have to know the present and not the future. Once you go through the present stage, then you reach a height from where you can see the past, the present and the future. Supposing on the Mother Earth, if you have a means of going higher and hang yourself there, then you can see whatever has passed through, and you can also see what is going to come, and wherever you are in the present. In the same way, when a person ascends, in reality, in the present, he goes at this point in the super consciousness, from where he sees his supraconscious right side, and also he can see He is subconscious, but he has no interest. He wants to rise in the present. And this is what actually the Kundalini awakening is. So all those people who say that Kundalini, in the awakening of the Kundalini, it is very difficult and it is harmful, are the people who have no right to awaken the Kundalini. So when they try to play tricks, actually the sympathetic nervous system goes into great agitation. And this sympathetic system on the left and right side start extracting more energy from the central part. So much so that it gets exhausted and such a person becomes actually a mental wreck. So many people who said that we are raising your Kundalini by this method or that method, wreck the life of the sadhakas. Ultimately they are left high and dry without achieving anything. Nobody knows what to achieve and what to receive. So they are misled. But logically, one must understand that at least your health should be all right. Mentally you should be better off. Your temperament has to improve minimum of minimum. But if you are losing all your money to the Guru, you are losing all your health for these nonsensical experiences, and you have no control over yourself, then you must know that this is not in any way the reality. Reality is where you are in control. If you are in the control of something else, then you are a lost case. For example, some people start jumping and they say, Mother, I start jumping automatically. That's a serious affair. That means you have no control over yourself. You are just jumping because somebody is making you jump. You are not jumping. That means your own chetana, your own attention, your own awareness is under the control of somebody else. You cannot control yourself. So all these experiences in which people think they are flying in the air or they are having a, I don't know what they call in English language, extraterrestrial movement, and people are going in the air and seeing things. All these are very dangerous things. Such a person may ultimately become a lunatic. Absolutely. Because he loses complete control over himself. These are called as parapsychological experiments in America. Give it a big name, parapsychology. Of course it is para because it is beyond the psyche of a person, but it's very dangerous. You are not supposed to get into these muddles where the spirits capture you and you start behaving in a manner that you can't explain. Once, about I think 5-6 years back, or maybe more, no, about 12 years back, a group of Americans came to see me and they told me that you must teach us how to fly in the air. I said, why aren't you flying? They said, no, we want to have that space travel. I said, why? Because Americans are doing experiments parapsychology and we want to do the same. I said, they'll all get possessed and they will finish off. I do want to do the same thing as Russians are doing. If they come to me, I'll tell them the same thing. So they said, no, we must learn. I said, if I tell you that you become slaves of those spirits and then you cannot do anything of your own and you start shaking your body all the time, despite that they said, yes, we must do it. And when they told me that because Russians are doing it, we want to do it, I said, who sent you here? So they told me a name of a gentleman who is a journalist in Bombay. I said, this fellow used to suffer from this trouble. He used to leave his body, go into another world, see this and see that, who suffered so much and he was losing complete control over himself, and I cured him. So does he think I can put back the disease in you? I cured him of this disease, and why do you want to get into this disease? But they were quite sure that they wanted it. And I discovered later on they are having this parapsychology business in America, which is an extremely dangerous thing. So this is the movement, not crossing the Agnya, but moving, floating on the left or the right, whether you go to the subconscious or to the supraconscious. Effects may be different, but it's the same thing to Sahaja Yoga. The people who go to the subconscious area may start seeing me also in different forms. Like the people who take LSD, they can't see me, they just see lights coming out of me. And those who go to the to the subconscious area, they start seeing forms and things in such a manner that they think they have reached heavens. But they are seeing the past of evolution, past of everything. So this supraconscious business is very dangerous, no doubt, but also the subconscious is very dangerous, because all incurable diseases like cancer, mellitus and all that come from the movement of the attention to the left side. So one should be very careful before going to any one of these tantrikas or to these people who are trying to control you or trying to tell you something about the future or the past. There is no need to know about the future or the past. What is the need? How does it help? Actually, if I start telling you how I came all the way from there and how I was held by the jam or anything, will you be interested? How do you get interested in your past glory or past life which was of no value at all today? But it is a human weakness that he wants to add to his personality something that is extremely artificial, non-existent and of no value. And then he says that, yeah, I did this, I happened to do this, I never got it. In India, people normally go more to the left side with this Agnya because they say worship God. Now if they have to worship God, they have no connection with God. See, now I had no connection here. I could not speak to you. So without connection to God, they start worshipping God. Then they'll sing all kinds of artis, fasting, this, torturing their own lives, these left-sided people. And singing the praise, all these things, going to the extreme 24 hours they are like that. So, somebody sucks them into the left side. If they go on saying Rama, 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 Rama like that, I might say that Valmiki was told to say, but who told him? Was Narada. Narada is an incarnation. Narada, you are not Narada. So how can you tell yourself, or anybody can tell you, take this name? You take any name. You cannot go to God. So where do you go? You go somewhere. There may be a servant called Rama. He might capture you. And people start behaving in such a funny manner that they look like mad, insipid people. Same thing about supraconscious. People who are very ambitious, they too can get into such a mad condition where they do not think of the collectivity of the whole, but they just start thinking about themselves. And when such a situation comes in, it's impossible to convince them that they are wrong till they reach their Waterloo and finish off. So this Agnya Chakra is a gate, is the door of heaven. And everyone has to pass through it. Now on this chakra resides the great incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ. In our Indian Shastras he is called as Mahavishnu, the son of Radhaji. And his essences are made of 11 Rudras, means 11 destroying powers, but the governing essence, the main essence is that of Sri Ganesh, means innocence. So he is the embodiment of innocence. Innocence means complete purity. And his body was not made out of Mother Earth, in the sense that he never had a body that was perishable. It's Omkara. So, when he died, he ascended. That's a fact, he ascended. And because he was a person made of Omkara. Now, as he is the son of Radhaji, you can see the relationship between him and the relationship between other deities very easily. About Mahavishnu, it is written in the Devi Bhagavad. But who reads Devi Bhagavad? Nobody has time to read these books. Mostly what trash things they read. There you can't find the explanation of all these incarnations who have come on this earth. So to understand Jesus Christ, you must read the Devi Bhagavad. But if you say this to Christians, they would not like to listen to it. Because for them, Bible is the last word. How can it be? Because Christ's life is depicted there only for 4 years. And he must have reference in other books also. And we have to open our eyes to those books and see for ourselves what is the truth. Because if you want to have an organized religion, you have to say that this is the thing, there's nothing else. Because if there is anything else, then your organization falls apart. But it's not true. Because Christ has been described very clearly in Devi Bhagavad. And we can prove it in the Kundalini. That when the Kundalini rises and stops here, at the Agnya, here, you have to say Lord's Prayer, otherwise it won't open. To awaken Jesus Christ, if you do not awaken him, it won't open. You have to take his name, otherwise it won't open, proves that it was Christ who was ruling. Or even if you take the name of Mahavishnu, it opens. So Mahavishnu and Jesus Christ are the same. So you must see the proof of it. And just because you want to believe that Christ is your own and discard everybody as heathens, you are sadly mistaken. Absolutely, you are sadly mistaken. In every scripture, people have entered from the back door. Every scripture. I told you about Gita, what wrong things they have written about the food, which is scientifically not true. To say that tamogunas are the people who eat meat is not true, because they eat protein and they have to be rajogunis automatically. So how they have tried to change it just to suit their thing at that part. But in the beginning they could not, because they said, Krishna said that you kill these people. I have already killed them. Whom are you killing? So just to bring this is a Brahminic stamp, they did this. In the Bible, the mistake came when the Saint Paul, who never knew Christ, he had nothing to do with Christ, just entered into the Bible. I don't know why he is there. He was not a realized soul. He was just a supraconscious Roman soldier. Very bad soldier who used to kill so many Christians. And suddenly they entered this Mr. Saint Paul into it, and he is accepted in the Bible all over the world. But you read him and you will know he is not a realized soul at all. He talks in a supraconscious way, he is an organizing machine, and he is good for nothing. There he describes in the Acts, you see, which he has written. Many people may not be knowing that Acts has been written by Mr. Paul himself. And this Mr. Paul tries to describe the disciples of Christ as supraconscious booths, absolutely like supraconscious people. And they behaved in such a funny manner that everybody started feeling that they are mad. Can you imagine Christ's disciples behaving like that? But you have to gulp it down and devour everything if you are a Christian, because it is in the Bible. And you start questioning, if you are a born realized person, what is this nonsense? Who is this Mr. Paul? From where does he come in? Because he doesn't talk like Christ. So the time has come for all of us to understand that all religions are one. They are part and parcel of one life's tree, and that all incarnations are supporting each other, nourishing each other and caring for each other. There's complete concord between them. There's no way you will see they will oppose each other. Never. So this point is to be proved also, and that can be only proved if you know how to raise the Kundalini. If you are a realized soul and if you can raise the Kundalini, you will be amazed to see that all these deities are placed on various chakras and they are to be raised. Now, sometimes, you see, I am blamed in India that I am preaching about Christ, so I am spreading Christianity. And if when I go to England, they say I am preaching about Krishna, so I am spreading Hinduism. Now, if I have to tell him that Radhaji has created Christ, and if you see Christ, his fingers are like this. Try to understand. Two fingers like this, one of Krishna and one of Vishnu. And he says the Father. And who is the father of Christ then? Is Shri Vishnu, Shri Krishna. Because in Mahavishnu's description, it is Shri Krishna himself worshipped his son and said, you will be the support of the universe, and whosoever will ever worship me, the fruits of that will go to you. And he placed him even higher than himself, but you can see that from above the Vishuddhi Chakra stands Mahavishnu. And he is the gate through which everybody has to pass. He actually blessed him specially. And he said, you will be the support of the universe. See now, you have known that Sri Ganesha stays at Muladhara. Muladhara Chakra means the support of the Mula, support of the roots. But Christ is placed at the support of the fruit. So the same thing evolves at that point, that you become aware of Christ only when your Agnya Chakra opens. Now this Agnya Chakra can be opened when the Kundalini goes up and opens it down. But supposing if you are too much ego-oriented, then you have turned it so tight, say the two ropes have turned it so tight that nothing can pass through. Or if you are too much of a superego and a frightened personality and dominated one, then also it is twisted so badly that Agnya Chakra cannot be opened. So what we have to do is to give a balance to the Agnya Chakra by removing left to the right or right to the left according to the need is, which you will understand in the technique of Sahaja Yoga, after realization, not before. Now when the balance is established, then this the chakras, the Agnya Chakra becomes little also better off because there's no twist on it. And then only when the Kundalini rises, she can push through. If you are a normal person, if you are not an ego and superego type, then there is no problem to raise your Kundalini through your Agnya. But say in Delhi, since I have come, I have been working on the Agnya morning till evening. People are extremely ego-oriented. They all think they are the administrator of the whole world. Delhi is full of this Agnya. Such proud and such vain people are here that they always think that they are ruling the whole world. They are the people who are the administrators and the great people belonging to politics, this, that, all ego-oriented. And such people cannot be given realization easily. First their ego has to be brought down and they have to accept God as the supreme being, as the Lord, as the real king of the world. Then only it works out. Now when some people also try to spoil this Agnya, like moving the eyes, the roving eyes. Christ, imagine, specially mentioned that they say thou shalt not commit adultery. I say thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Just imagine. He talked of the eyes because he is controlling the eyes at that point. But in the West, it's hard to find any man or a woman who doesn't have an adulterous eye. Those who are the followers of Christ have such horrible eyes that you don't know what they are doing. They'll go mad. They can't keep their eyes steady. All the time their eyes turning, this side, that side, this side, that side. They have lusty eyes or they are looking at things or something else, but it's all joyless. There's no joy. They're just looking at people for no fun at all. आपको हिंदी में बताया कि हमारे एक पहचान के आए थे, उनकी बीवी बहुत सीधी सादी थी बेचारी, तो लंदन आई तो उन्होंने देखा सबकी आंखें ऐसे 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 चल रहे थे, तो उनका ये क्या हो रहा है, तो मैंने कहा कि इसको फ्लर्टिंग कहते हैं। कहले ये क्यों करते हैं लोग, तो मैंने कहा वो ऐसा करते रहते हैं ऐसा। अब मैंने क्या कहूँ क्यों करते हैं, मुझे क्या पता क्यों करते हैं तो मैंने कहा ऐसे करते रहते हैं, वो इसकी बीवी उसको पसंद करती, उसका हस्बैंड उसको पसंद करता, तो ऐसे चलते रहते। शादी के बाद ऐसे चलता रहता। मैंने कहा ऐसे चलता मरते दम तक। तो वो काफी हैरान हो, कहने भाई लेकिन मेरी समझ नहीं आया, अपनी चीज अपनी है, दूसरे की चीज दूसरी, उसमें मजा क्या है। उनका ये इनसे पूछिए, और एक नहीं सभी ऐसे। अपने हिंदुस्तानी भी जाकर वहां से यहाँ दिल्ली में यह हाल बहुत खराब। पंजाबियों में तो खास चीज होती है, महाराष्ट्र में नहीं है बात जरूर। पंजाबियों में तो जब तक हर औरत को मुड़ के न देख ले, जब तक उनकी गर्दन न टूट जाए, वो गर्दन नहीं छोड़ने वाले। ये तो खास चीज। मैंने तो ये दिल्ली में जब मेरी शादी हुई तब मैंने देखा, लाहौर में पढ़ती तो वहां तो और भी कमाल था। लेकिन ये चीज इसलिए आई है कि पर्दा सिस्टम आ गई, और पर्दा सिस्टम में लोगों में क्यूरियोसिटी औरतों के लिए हो गई। अब पर्दा भी उठा दिया तो भी वैसी चल, माँ बहन नाम की चीज बहुत कम है। और इसलिए क्राइस्ट ने कहा दाउ शैल्ट नॉट हैव अडल्टरस आइज। बट दिस वाज ऑल सेड as an order by Christ. Of course nobody obeyed it. On the contrary, like I told you, the Muslims, where it was said not to drink, they started having poems written by Umar Khayyam to challenge Muhammad Sallallahu. But among Christians they started challenging Christ, all antichrist activities by which innocence of people should be destroyed, by which their eyes would be destroyed, and all the purity of mind will be destroyed. And another extreme started, which was not at all preached by Christ. I don't know how it came into the Christian religion. Is a thing called nunnery and making people brahmacharinis and brahmacharis. You cannot make anyone brahmachari or brahmacharini. It's a state, avastha, where a person has to rise. Like Yogeshwara, like Shri Krishna. Despite all that, he was a brahmachari. It's a state of mind where you are not involved. It's a different thing than to just load somebody with an idea that you should become absolutely a brahmachari or a brahmacharini, or you should lead a celibate life, forcing them. Christ never said so. He could not become a married man because he was here on this earth to do one great job, is to make this ascent through this Agnya Chakra. That's why he was crucified. By doing this, he was to create a space in the Agnya Chakra, and that's what he did at the command of his father and his mother. And he did it. So the people who are doing all this nonsense of celibacy, and which is not, because from the mind there is no celibacy. Celibacy must come from within, the purity must come from within. And that has created problem in Catholicism. And also they started another big stuff like going and confessing to the priest. Now this is also another funny thing, is to go to a priest. Priest is never a realized soul, I have seen it, because if he is a realized soul, he will run away from priesthood. So they would go and confess it to the priest, and the poor priest would become mad, and the confessor would have left Vishuddhi feeling the guilt. That was the wrong side of absolutely God. To feel guilty is not necessary. Then after Christ, there were people who would not accept Christ, like Jews. So they said that we will not accept Christ, and we must suffer because we must suffer for God. Even now Christians believe nonsensically that we should suffer. Now I would say Indians also believe that we have to suffer. But they also knew Mahavishnu is going to come, and when he comes, he will have power to suck our karmas and we don't have to suffer. Actually, that's what happens. When Christ is awakened within you, he sucks your karmas. He sucks your ego and superego. He sucks your karmas, your papas, your conditioning. And that's how you become free. This is a very important point which people must know. That was the great job he did, was to establish himself at the Agnya Chakra to suck these two things. And when they suck these two, when he sucks these, then we are above our karmas, our sins and our papas. So we don't have to worry about sins, papas and all that. But these people, we should say those who came to this earth as missionaries who came down to India to preach Christianity, had no idea of Mahavishnu, nor they had any idea of Christ. They came with a gun in one hand and a Bible in the other. And we stupid Indians also didn't know any value of our heritage, and we just said, all right, let's become Christians so that they give us good jobs. And that's how all the job-oriented, all sorts of people became Christian. But actually, they should have told that Mahavishnu is born. If they had read anything of Devi Bhagavad and had told that Mahavishnu is born, then people would have given up this idea that you have to suffer for your karmas. So Indians are still thinking that we have to still suffer for our karmas. We should fast, we should walk, and we should hang ourselves by the nearest tree all the time. This is not needed. What you have to do is to just wait for the moment when the Agnya Chakra will be opened, keep in the center, as Buddha has said, keep in the center. And then when the Kundalini rises, all this, whatever is accumulated, will be sucked in and you can get your moksha. This was a simple thing to be done. Instead of that, we Indians believe we must suffer, we must go into fast. Now in Sahaja Yoga, you are not allowed to fast in the name of God. You may fast otherwise, because if you have no money, you can fast. You have to fast in any case. But not in the name of God or your karmas. Then secondly, the Jews refused to accept Christ. As a result, the Jews said that we are not going to accept Christ, we have to suffer. So all right, they suffered and suffered and suffered. So they got Mr. Hitler to put them right, their sufferings. After getting Mr. Hitler, now they are becoming Hitlers. So you can imagine how wrong ideas can take you to such a limit that as a result of this thing that we have to suffer, that Hitler was born to support their wishes that they must suffer. Nobody has to suffer anymore now. You have to work out your Kundalini awakening. And you have to establish yourself very well in Sahaja Yoga. All your sufferings are going to be taken away. One of the names of the Devi is Papa Vimochini. She removes all your papas. Sankata Vimochana, we call it, Shri Ganesha. He is the one who removes all the hurdles of life. And you really, when blessed, you can see that God has so many ways of blessing the people. It is miraculous. Absolutely, it is a miracle. So many people who are in Sahaja Yoga now say that miracle has lost its meaning in Sahaja Yoga. It is a fact. So, one has to understand that God exists. Not only He exists, He acts, He loves. And that we are supposed to know Him. Whatever you may have done, whatever may be the mistakes, you have to become one with God. Because He is your loving Father. He is the Father who is the ocean of love. And only thing you have to do is to just ask for it. When the Kundalini rises, you become one with Him, and He wants to bestow all His kingdom, all His powers upon His children whom He has created. So all these funny ideas about religion, that you have to suffer, that you must do penance, that you should become brahmacharis. All these absurd ideas should be given up. You have to be absolutely a normal, happy person. God has done so much for you. He has created so much for you. But even if you want to be miserable, what can one do? As far as mother is concerned, if you want to punish your mother sometimes or say you want to just make her unhappy, then you say, otherwise I will not eat my food. So fasting is not allowed in Sahaja Yoga. But if you have to fast for food or anything, it's all right. But otherwise there is no need to fast except for 1 or 2 days you have to fast. And thus we understand that Agnya Chakra, which is the most important door through which everybody has to pass. Everybody has to fast. And that has to be properly worshipped and kept clean. For that, you must keep your attention very clean. Your attention has to be clean. If your attention is soiled, then your Agnya Chakra will not be on it. Then you will have hallucinations, you will have wrong ideas, and you will think of wrong things. So if you really want to find the meaning of your being, if you really want awakening of the Kundalini, then know that whatever you have known so far about God or everything has to be revised, has to be again seen for yourself what it is like. Unless and until you pass through this, you cannot be baptized. The people who talk of baptism, like John the Baptist, he was really a realized soul. And when he raised the Kundalini and put the water on the head, he really gave them realization. That is baptism. Christian means a baptized person, but not any Dick, Tom and Harry can put his hand on your head and say you are realized. On the contrary, William Blake says, the priest cursed on my head. It's true. For a realized soul, if you put the hand of a priest who is not a realized soul and who is not properly entitled to do it, children get into problems. We have seen many children who are realized souls who got into problems. Their eyes become squinty, they become funny, their brains went off, and we had to cure them. So it's a very dangerous thing to make everyone put their hands on this pulsating fontanelle bone area, which we call as talu. Talu is the Brahmarandra and is the most important part of a human being. So everybody should be very careful before they touch them. You have to be a realized soul and you have to know how to do it. Means you have to be a Sahajogi. So for your children, when they are born, you have to be careful. If they are realized soul, more so. Because if they are non-realized soul, then their reaction is not so violent. But if they are realized souls, they scream and shout and they can't bear it. So one must understand, though it looks like very traditional or anything like that, one must see that those things which are harmful to human beings must be given up. The time has come for all of us to give up those things which are not good for our health, which are not good for our spiritual being. The time has come. If you do not accept this, then only thing I can say as a mother that I am concerned about. But it's much more than that. It's a dangerous time you are in. And Agnya Chakra, if it is spoiled at the back, that means you are definitely possessed. At the back, if the Agnya Chakra is caught, then one develops blindness with the eyes open. Now in India it's very common. The reason is we have very funny ideas about the Devi or the God coming into the body of human beings. How can that be? It's again same thing, supraconscious business. A maid servant who is all the time using bad words, who has no sense of cleanliness, who has no sense of holiness, suddenly becomes agitated. She goes on. And all the women, in Maharashtra is very common, they will go and fall at her feet. The Devi has come, the Devi has come. And now they fall at her feet. And then ultimately they are caught up because they get the possession by a spirit. We had one very bad case recently where a man, he came to me and he told me that he can't help, he has to touch the feet of his sister-in-law because she is a Devi. I said, why? Because she gets into this agitation. So I told that if you think that she is a Devi and if you want to touch her feet, you don't come to me again. But he became blind, absolutely blind. And when he became absolutely blind, then he came to. And then we had to put the Agnya Chakra, all right. Now how do you do it in Sahaja Yoga? As you have the photograph, you may use it. Put a light before the photograph. Light is the way you cure your Agnya Chakra always. Light or the sun, because Christ resides in the sun. So what do is to put a light in front, take another light behind and give an arti to your Agnya Chakra at the back. It is decided by Maha Ganapati and Mahabhairava. So you just give it a arti and Agnya Chakra will open. But how do you open this? Very simple thing is that any thought comes to you, you should say, I forgive. This is the greatest weapon Christ has given us. You just say, I forgive, and you can overcome your ego. This is the mantra for this chakra in front, where you just say, I forgive, and you will find your Agnya Chakra will open out, and you will find your ego will go. Forgiveness is one of the biggest weapons human beings have got. But they are so stupid if I tell them, forgive. Now, what is there not to forgive? Thus it's very difficult to forgive. I said, what is so difficult? What are you doing? Are you doing something when you are saying, I am forgiving? Do you do something? Nothing. On the contrary, when you do not forgive, then what is happening is the person whom you do not forgive is actually torturing you, while you are not torturing that person. So this is the mantra of the Agnya Chakra in front, and at the back, as I told you, you have to move the lights. Now somebody will say, one day they will do, 2 days they will do. That's now the Sahaja Yoga is not to be worked on. You have to really go all out to do it. And I have seen people who had eyes which were all bent like this. They could never raise their eyes, or now have open eyes, proper eyes with this working. It's very simple to be done. There's one more thing that happens to our eyes. When the Swadhisthana Chakra goes out of order, it is represented here at the back, which is around this back Agnya. So when you have diabetes or anything like that, people start becoming blind, because this Swadhisthana Chakra, which is around, goes on pressing it, and that's how that part which is surrounding this center oppresses and augments that center, so that the eyes cannot see. There's no light, there's darkness, and people have eyes open. You have seen many diabetic people get this blindness. So first of all, cure your diabetes through curing your Swadhisthana. And also you can use a ice around your Swadhisthana at the back. But first of all, if you improve your Swadhisthana, you will feel very much better. So the treatment of the front side is with the light, and the treatment of the back is with the water. But best is also to use the light or the water, whichever way you like, because if it is Swadhisthana, you have to use the water, but if it is just the possession, then you have to use, without diabetes, if it is a possession, then you have to just use the light. That's how we cure our Agnya Chakra. When Christ said, I am the light, I am the path, because He is Omkara, He is the path. And He is the door, He is the gate. And everybody will have to pass through His gate. He never told lies, but they crucified Him. They just crucified Him. One thing good we are fortunate in this country. We don't have any organized religion. Thank your stars for that. If you had any organized religion, you could never have taken to Sahaja Yoga. Because according to organized religion, you have to believe in one person, and as if he has no connection with anyone. He's a lone person hanging in the air. He has nothing to do with anybody else. So thank God for that it has not happened in this country, and that's how we have people who are more suited for Sahaja Yoga than we have in any other country, because they are so conditioned. And it's a very great blessing. For example, now, Sainath, who was the last incarnation of the Guru, principle. He was a Muslim. But all his disciples are Hindus. They are not Muslims. Muslims don't accept him even as God. Not only that, but there's one place called Haji Malang, where a saint died who was a Muslim. But he told that only the Brahmins, means the realized souls, must worship me. And so they had to appoint some Brahmins, which they did not understand the word Brahmins. They are Hindus who are worshipping a Muslim peer. So the idea that once you become the peer, once you become a realized soul, then he has no religion. He is beyond religion. He becomes the religion. Then there is no bounding for him, because a drop has gone to the ocean. Now he has become the ocean. So for the ocean, there is no limitation. And because he has crossed his limitation, he is above all these things. And that's what we believe in, that if he's a peer, if he's a realized soul, then he's a realized soul. Once I went to a small village called Miyakitakuri. And as soon as I stepped into the village, I felt tremendous vibrations. And I said, who was the great saint who lived here? So they said there was one Muslim peer. I said, whatever it is, he was a saint. And when I was sitting and giving lecture, you will see the photographs. The light came on my head 7 times. And the 7th time, then I put my hand like this. But nobody saw it, only I knew. And I knew that it was there. I was laughing with it. And then the people, you see, when they took the photograph, they took picture. So these realized souls are all over, and they are helping. They never enter into any body. They never trouble you. They guide you to the proper lines. They bring you. They are angels, and they help you to come to the right path, to the right conclusions. And they never try to possess you. They never try to hypnotize you or take you to wrong side of life. So when you are realized also, you must know that you have to know completely what is the reality. Go on understanding it, trying to assimilate it, not to discard it because you are attached to something, you are attached to another organization. There is no organization in Sahaja Yoga, you know very well. There is no grouping in Sahaja Yoga, there is no membership in Sahaja Yoga. But it's a living organization. It's a living organization. So anything happens here, the whole body knows. Anything happens there, the whole body knows. We don't have to have organization written for this body. In the same way, Sahaja Yoga works out, but still I must say, as we have in our body, different type of sensory systems. We too have in Sahaja Yoga people who just come in, just the beginners. They are not exposed to the truths which they cannot bear. Then, if they pass a certain line of understanding, then they are taken, as they say, Nirvichara Samadhi people, who are given certain facilities to enter into certain new dimensions and ideas. But the inner circle people are the ones who are in Nirvikalpa. Such people are only taken into consideration for teaching Sahaja Yoga. Anybody who tries to teach Sahaja Yoga, talk about Sahaja Yoga, at the second stage, just is thrown away. Because there's a centrifugal and a centripetal, both the forces working. By one, you come in, and by another, you are thrown like a tangent. Nobody is anxious to have a very big group or anything. If it is big, well and good, one wants to say as many as possible. But nobody is going to force you. Nobody is going to have any cheap sort of a circus for it. It is the desire of the people who want to come in. It is the wish of the people, those who have to come. You cannot force them. You cannot force a person to get their realization. So this is what it is today at the Agnya Chakra. I have told you, Agnya Chakra I have spoken many a times in England and in America, and I was very much sometimes opposed by some churches and things, but I think if they want to exist any longer, they better take to truth and know that what they knew so far is incomplete. They have to know the full of it, because Christ couldn't talk much, and whatever he said was written down by his disciples the way they understood. To understand Christ, you have to have your realization. May God bless you. If you have any questions, you can ask me again today for a while, and then